Welcome, football fans. What is going on, y'all? I hope every one of you are having a wonderful week and jumping into a wonderful weekend. Well, here we are, and then there were four. This is going to be one awesome weekend. Championship weekend has arrived in the NFL, and we are down to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Green Bay Packers, the Buffalo Bills, and the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, these four teams have quite the story. Tampa Bay, the last time they were at the Super Bowl, they ate my Raiders. Like, okay, seriously, no, this is not funny. They ate my Raiders like a breakfast sandwich on the way to work. Okay, they never had a chance. Of course, thanks, Druden. Well, I should say thanks, Al. He's kidding. No, hey, we love you, Al. Rest in peace. Never left in peace, Al Davis. But the last time they were there, I was in middle school, guys. So yeah, it's been quite some time. The Buccaneers haven't been there for quite some time. They only have one Lombardi. They're chasing their second, and wouldn't you know it, TB12 is the man at the helm. And boy, do they have a cast of athletes. If there was ever a time for these Buccaneers to win it, it was this. It's this year. It has to be. And maybe next year, I don't know. The Green Bay Packers. This year, it's officially been a decade since they hoisted a Lombardi. In 2011, they got it done. They made the 2010-2011 playoffs by the skin of their teeth. And what happens? They get in and run the table and take out the Steelers. I'll never forget that game. 28-23, if I'm not mistaken. 28-23, I think, something like that. I will not forget that game. What a gosh damn game that was. And they get it done. I think it came down to like a fourth down is what the game came down to, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But my goodness, what a football game. And those Packers played extremely well and got it done. And once again, I'm not sure it'll be the best skin of the teeth thing. I think they actually might have done a little bit better. But I know the Bears actually won it that year, the NFC North. And the Packers got in. It's like, whoa, the team that didn't even win the title in the division got in and won it. So we have that. The Buffalo Bills just won their first gosh dang playoff game in 18 years. And let's not forget, in 91, 2, 3, and 4, they went 4 times in a row and lost every time. Back to back to back to back to back. I was a small child then, but too small to even realize football. And then, of course, you have the Chiefs hoisting their first Lamar Hunt, actually, their old coach, from the since 1971, and then of course hosting their first Lombardi since that same year. And guess what? They're back at it. They got it all. They won it all last year, and they're back in it to repeat. Can they? We will see. And fun fact: if the Packers win it and the Chiefs win it, we'll have a repeat of Super Bowl I. Just saying. But TJ's not trying to have that. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're excited. I hope you're ready, because this is going to be fun. This is Primetime Face-Off number 1 of the day. Of course, we have another one coming up at the top of the hour. I hope you're ready. Let's boogie! Ladies and gentlemen, everyone around the world, diehard football fans, it's time for the NFC Championship Primetime Face-Off. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be taking on the Green Bay Packers. Here we go, y'all. Let's book it. We have here 2 combatants, one from across the pond and the other one here in the good old U.S. Ladies and gentlemen, you gotta love it. Jolly old England. Take it on, of course, the U.S. Just kidding. I had to extra a little bit in there. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, he was a part of this a couple weeks ago in the wild card. And I'll tell you, man, he was a spur of the moment thing. I was looking for a Buccaneers fan, like literally with like an hour to go, and he's like, "I'll do it." And I'm like, "Sweet!" And he's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I'm in England, and it's." Ladies and gentlemen, he was watching the freaking football game at 1:20 a.m. GMT. Okay, that's a diehard. I mean, seriously, I know what that's like watching the Olympics when it's like not here. Well, it's not anywhere near here. It was easy, but when it was like China or when it was in Britain in 2012. Yeah, it wasn't the easiest thing watching, boxing at 3 a.m, or you know what I mean? So yeah, but I can just say I know this, and trust me, when the World Cup happens, I'll do the same thing. I'm up at like freaking 1 a.m. trying to drink coffee or so I know what that means. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome here for a second time. And, well, I told them I'd invite them back if they made it. And here they are, ladies and gentlemen, welcome here for a second time. And hopefully second time of many more, all the way from across the pond in jolly old England, welcoming diehard Buccaneers fan and diehard, I forgot his... He said he's in the 5th division, so it's okay. I'm sorry, brother. But
you're doing my soccer team a disservice.
Third division. Well, hey, if the Raiders, if there was a relegation in 2nd and 3rd league, the Raiders would be like freaking Pop Warner. Okay, we would be in the tiny possibly get. So anyway, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, welcoming in diehard Buccaneers fan from across the pond. Welcoming TJ Bloomfield. What's going on, man? How you doing today, man?
Afternoon, Larry. Afternoon, Brian. My team, by the way, soccer team is Ipswich Town Football Club. That much of a diehard. We're playing at the moment, and I'm trying to sneak a watch while we're recording this. But all good to go. All good to go. And obviously tomorrow night, only an 8 p.m. kickoff this time for us in England, so not too bad. But yeah, trust me, there's thousands of the UK Bucks Nation ready to watch some history being made.
You know what? I'm excited for you guys. I'm excited for the Bucks fans out there. Bucks Nation, Bucks UK. That is the coolest banner right behind. Can you give us a close-up on that real quick, TJ? Can you
yeah, so it's just hanging up. It's my T-shirt. I've just hung it up on there just to represent the Bucks UK fan group. So as you can see, one of the oldest UK NFL fan groups there's been since 1984, growing every year. And yeah, it's the place you want to be with if you're a Bucks fan in this country, or indeed any country in Europe. We'll have anyone. All bandwagoners welcome.
I love it. DJ, that is the coolest thing. I didn't take notice that the UK flag was actually in the Buccaneers flag. I did not see that last time, but that is the coolest.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
You know what? 1984. My gosh, we weren't here yet, guys. But
I was minus 10 in 1984.
Okay, yeah. See, I know you're a lot younger than me. I was born a few years later, but definitely wasn't here in '84. So I'll tell you, man, that's pretty awesome, man. And I'll tell you, that's actually when they were the creamsicle. My favorite uniforms. I don't even like the new ones. I wish they would go back to the 50-50 bar Flintstone push-up colors. I mean, what were those called? The creamsicle, right? The creamsicles
and the old school logo, Bucco Bruce. And obviously we've got our own Bucco Bruce now in charge.
With the thing in
it. Yeah.
Can we please get that back? I'd like that.
Well, yeah. See, the problem with that is when we had that logo and that uniform, we sucked. So it's not that good memories.
I was gonna say 1984. If you guys started then, that was when they weren't very good. So that's some diehards over there.
Those are real diehards. Real diehards, because those, yeah, I couldn't. No, I mean,
it was some barren years.
I guess the Raiders don't have a jersey that we can say, hey, we sucked back then, because we still do. Anyway, no, we were good in '84. We were actually pretty good. We won the Super Bowl that year. Yeah, we actually won in 1984. That was the year Howie Long, my all-time favorite Raider. That's my all-time favorite player, guys. You got to have the flat top, you know what I mean? So anyway, with that said, welcoming, of course, a diehard. He's not from Green Bay, but he reps them like he is. He's not one of those crazy people who Brian, no.
Not that crazy, no.
When I watch a Packers game and I see homeboy standing, and I'm saying homeboy because literally I've seen too many of them. Okay, they have not been the same person. Or you see a group of people just hanging out, and it's like minus 10 with a chill factor of like freaking, I don't know. And you see just, one random dude with no shirt on with a beer, like with a beanie and a beer, like, yeah, let's go. Like, no, Brian, that's bad for your health. What the hell?
It's not my health. They can do whatever they want. It makes for good TV.
It just cracks me up, man. I'm like, those people are tough. Those people from Green Bay are tough. That's all I gotta say. You know, I'll keep my Californian self over here because that's tough. That's about as tough as it gets, man. Those are the people that shave with no cream, man. They just go straight with it with no water and shave with an old razor. Just crunch, crunch, crunch. No, but I'll tell you, that's pretty awesome, man. But those, I love it. I love it. Green Bay, there's nothing like it. And when you play in the winter in Green Bay, you're almost asking to lose. So the Buccaneers definitely have two teams to face. They have Green Bay and they have the winter of Wisconsin, okay, to face. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome, of course, diehard Packers fan. He is actually the host of a very popular Packers podcast we will get to in a few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming, of course, for his up team time. He's been here millions of times here on 3 and Out, and I'm so glad to have him here again today. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, of course, the one and the only Mr. Brian Brickshall. What's going on, brother? How you doing today, man?
Not much. I'm having a great day. Can't wait for tomorrow. It's going to be a good one.
Do you feel like TJ? TJ texted me earlier. Well, bro, he wrote to me in the DMs, and he was like, I'm so nervous. I really wish it was already Sunday.
Yeah, it's going to be, I mean, I felt like that probably Monday. I was like, after the weekend of games, I was like, all right, let's go. Let's do this. So
well,
it's been a long time.
Gentlemen, 2 of your teams will enter tomorrow. Only one will be on their way to the Super Bowl, and that is ridiculous. Because for one team, it's like, too bad, so sad, unfortunately. We all know how that feels. But then for the other team, it's, all right, we have a chance to make it happen. Unfortunately, in that game, it's going to be either too bad, so sad, or the victory of a lifetime. So it's just, this is crazy. I love it. And might I just add this, and I'm sorry, TJ, and to everybody in Britain, in France, in Italy, in Portugal, in Spain, you get the picture. European soccer, I'm sorry. I know it's the way it's always been. But come on, man. Playoffs are where it's at. I'm sorry. Playoffs are where it's at. You don't just play 38 games and then call it a season. I'm sorry. Like, I'm sick and tired of seeing one team have 40,000 points by game number 20, and we already know who's going to win it. I'm just saying. That's like, if that was the case, the Steelers would have won. I'm just saying. So, TJ, any thoughts, comments?
Well, I mean, it's been a very, 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 very long time since my soccer team ever graced the top division and were competing at that top level. However, I will say, if you look at the English football leagues, you have got the Premier League where it is, as you say, just a straight games. But every other division down, in order to get promoted, they offer spots through a playoff system. So at the end of the season, the teams finish 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, do a knockout playoff, just like we guys know in the NFL. And that team, whoever ends up winning, ends up getting promoted. So we do have playoffs in this country, and they have offered some of the best experiences as a football fan, but they can also be utterly heartbreaking.
Well, that's cool. I didn't know you guys had the. Look at Brian over there just laughing like it's all fun. No, but I get you. Well, I'm just saying the Premier League is awesome, but some of these teams like PSG and Ligue 1, seriously, the seasons all start over there in August. When you look at the table and, PSG's up by like 44 points by December, you're like, oh, who's going to win that league? You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. So I don't know. But I'm just saying, I think at the end of the day, though, tradition, I get it. And honestly, it is really cool. But I just had to have some fun there with the European Soccer League. But I'll tell you right now, man.
We can finish it. We can continue this conversation on another show.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yes. But with that said, gentlemen, let's go ahead and get to the face-off and have some fun here. With that said, you already know how it goes, y'all. X Factors. I love them. You love them. We all love them. Very simple questions, but man, they make for a fun show. All right, let's start this thing off. We have it all ready to rock and roll. NFC Championship Primetime face-off setting underway. Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Green Bay Packers. TJ, you're starting us off. X Factors, man. Tell us, who are your X Factors for this game and why?
Okay, so 2 weeks ago, I came on this show and I said to you, Antonio Brown with the X Factor. First quarter touchdown. I'm happy with that. I think I made a good one. He's not going to be a factor in this game, though. He's out, unfortunately. So I'm going to look a little bit further afield because I think everyone's heard enough about Tom Brady to last several lifetimes. So I'm going to pick someone a little bit different, someone who's coming back from an injury that he suffered in week 5 and is only returning now in the NFC Championship game. I'm talking about nose tackle Vita Vea. Now, this Goliath of a man, I think 345 pounds he weighed in at, which is probably about 7 of me. So you get the idea about how much of a run stuffer he is. He suffered a broken leg or a broken ankle in week 5. He's been rehabbing ever since then. He's going to be coming back in some capacity on Sunday. Bruce Arians has been quite quiet about how much we're going to see of him. But even if he's there for, let's say, 20 snaps, it's a change for the much, much better for our defensive line and pass rush. He's a run stuffer primarily. And I'm not saying that we missed him loads because Tampa Bay still had the number 1 run defense. But bringing him in just adds another dimension to that. We know how good Aaron Jones is. We know how Green Bay can rely on him to open up some opportunities for Aaron Rodgers for their passing game. Having Vita Vea, it means that the middle of the field is very difficult to run on. With him and Ndamukong Suh clogging up that center, it's going to force Green Bay to think outside the box if they decide to run. And, they might decide to abandon the run entirely and then rely on Aaron Rodgers. Certainly not a weak link. You're not going to hear any Aaron Rodgers bashing from me. I'm too scared of the man. But if Vita Vea can perform to some level that we've seen before, I think PFF had him as one of the top 3 rated players in his position before he got injured. It allows some of the linebackers to have a bit more freedom for their pass rush. And if we're going to win on Sunday, we need to get to Aaron Rodgers as quickly as possible. So look for Vita Vea to do his thing. And if he does, the Bucs might just have a shot.
Now that, if there was ever an X Factor, my goodness, way to put it. And I think it's the first time we've had a single person from the defensive line actually picked to be the X Factor. I don't think we've had that before. Maybe we have, but you're absolutely right, man. Vita Vea, the big boy in the middle, man, that's a position I've played many times, man. The 3 technique and the 0 technique are very, very important. I don't want to bring up any bad memories. I'm sorry, Brian, but there was a young man who used to be an absolute monster in the middle. BJ Raji, a couple years back, unfortunately, just due to personal issues, he taken an early retirement. But my gosh, when he played, he was a monster. And I'll tell you right now, when you have that kind of presence in the middle, Vita Vea is, over 300 some pounds of fury. And I know because I'm a Pac-12 guy. Okay, I'm a Pac-12 guy, and he played for Washington, and my goodness, seeing him wreak havoc on the Pac-12 when he was in college was amazing. Now to see him in the NFL doing his thing, I love it. So, Brian, let us know, brother, X Factors for your Green Bay Packers.
Well, I'll comment on TJ's first. I think Vita Vea is a great pick because, as you said, the first game in Week 6, the Packers didn't do a good job running the ball, and then when they threw those 2 interceptions and got down, they had to pass the ball, and we saw how much that just unraveled without having a rushing attack to kind of lean on, which they've done all year. And if Vita Vea comes back and can only bolster that rush defense that they already, like you said, is ranked number 1, is tough to run against, that is just going to make it tougher because the Packers will need to run the ball. My X factor for the Packers, I think it's going to be a close game. There's a couple options. I'm going to go with offense or defensive. But one of my first games I went to as a kid at Lambeau was a late December game around Christmas when they played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when they were part of the Central Division. And the Packers ended up winning because Martin Gramatica missed a field goal. It was a pretty short one. I think it was right around 40 yards, but it was freezing cold and it was super difficult to do. And I think the media is overblowing the weather because guys like Tom Brady and Gronk played in New England forever and have dealt with cold up there as long as it can. But there's guys, especially specialists like the kickers, that just it's a totally different ball game when you step off the plane and then try and kick those hard footballs. Mason Crosby's been doing it for years, and I think if this game's tight and it comes down to a last second field goal, I know Mason Crosby's money, and he'll make it for us. And I think either way, it's going to be tough for Tampa Bay kicking the ball, and Mason Crosby's got it on lock on Lambeau.
you look at that. We have a gigantic, I'm talking about gigantic bowling ball in the middle and a kicker. Those are, that's what I'm talking about, y'all. That's number one, these are diehards. We know that already. Super diehards, beautiful explanations. And number two thing, gentlemen, this game is going to be that good to where it actually could come down to one big play from Vita Vea or somebody on the defensive line or a big kick. It literally can come down to that because this is going to be a dogfight. And as my old coach used to say in high school, if you ever seen a dogfight, it's nothing pretty. Nothing pretty. And that's how it goes, guys. And that's exactly what this is going to be, a nasty, ugly dogfight. And we're going to see lots and lots and lots of sideline frustration. Okay. We're going to see lots of exciting moments, and we're going to see one team at the end be ready and on their way to the Super Bowl. So with that said, let's jump on into the lightning round and talk some crap and have some fun here. So weaknesses. This is always fun. I always enjoy this, having fun with it. But this is always hard in the NFC and AFC championship on championship weekend, okay? Because it's hard to pick out the weaknesses. But do your best. TJ, let us know, man. What are the weaknesses on Green Bay that you feel that your Tampa Buccaneers can exploit to earn the victory?
I'm going to go a little bit outside the box again, only because Green Bay, on paper, I've seen a few power rankings. I've seen a few people put Green Bay at number one, and it's very difficult to argue against it. I know obviously the Chiefs and Bills are both excellent teams as well. I'm going to say the pressure. And what I mean by that is Green Bay, I think Brian might disagree. I feel comfortable in saying this. Green Bay are favourites to win this game. Okay? Green Bay were favoured over Tampa Bay to get to this stage of the competition this year from the start of the season. I think that's fair to say as well. I think the bookies have them as 3-point favourites coming in. And this is the first, again, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the first NFC championship game that Aaron Rodgers has had at Lambeau Field. So the pressure is on Green Bay here because Aaron Rodgers, for all of his incredible talent, and you know it might only be second to Tom Brady in this period that they've both been in the league in terms of quarterbacks. He's only ever made one Super Bowl. He won it, so he's always going to have that Lombardi. But 10 years since that happened, and Green Bay are never going to get a better chance at making the big game. Now, Tampa Bay have been hot and cold throughout the season, coming into a bit of form right now, which is fantastic. And obviously, having Brady on is going to be huge for the confidence of our team. But Green Bay are going to have to live with everyone thinking that they're going to win this game. And if they do go on to Tampa, then that's another story. But they've got to think about what they've got to do here. And there's no crowd. Well, there's a lower crowd than we'd normally see. Normally, that would be a huge factor. Not going to be a factor here either. So it's very much an even playing field. And if Green Bay are to win, they're going to have to execute a game plan very, very well because we've seen Tampa Bay just about get past Washington and very almost comfortably get past New Orleans.
You know what, man? I love it. I love it because once again, you can't get no more diehard. And I love how you even said it. We're against the odds because it's true, guys. Green Bay is heavily favored in this game. But once again, you're playing against the elements. Okay, you're playing against the freezing cold. And for some reason, Green Bay in Lambeau, it's like they ate the gosh dang star in Mario. You know what I mean? Like they're almost untouchable. You know what I mean? They're wearing the white and red overalls in Mario. You know what I mean? Like
the script is set. The script is set for them to win, which is exactly the reason why they might not.
Like, well, then you know what? I like that. Built up too high. Oh boy, I like that. Brian, go ahead and talk about TJ's comments. Let him know if you agree or you're like, stop it across the pond over there. You quit it. Let him know, and then of course talk about your weaknesses that you feel that your Packers can exploit on the Buccaneers to win this thing.
I completely agree, honestly, with what TJ said because in my lifetime, most of the NFC Championship games, if not all of them, they were underdogs. I felt confident in the one in 2010 season where they played the Bears. They were the away team, but we had just beat them in Week 17 to make it into the playoffs, and they were on a hot streak that whole playoff run. But otherwise, we've always been the massive underdog, and that's why we've ended up losing. So my hopes weren't as high. Where this week, it's been really tough this whole week, just nervous knowing that, you know, they are favored, and it is against Tom Brady, who somehow finds magic to just win games that he shouldn't win, and it's one of those things like you mentioned in 2011 when the Packers are 15-1 and then we're 1 and done in the playoffs. It's the pressure has gotten to them before. I think and hope that Aaron Rodgers has this team, having gone through that, has this team ready and prepared so that they don't come out and lay an egg when they're a heavy favorite like that. So I agree completely with TJ's point there. It's something that is definitely worrisome. For me, weakness on the Buccaneers. The first time around, Devontae Adams was just coming back from his injury. He is missing, and we are also missing Alan Lazard. So we were kind of down our second wide receiver, and Adams just wasn't Adams in that game. It's why you saw that second interception tip off his hands. That's a pass he normally catches. Is a little sloppy coming out of his cut on the one that Jamel Dean took back. And so I don't expect Aaron Rodgers to throw 2 interceptions, and I think having those 2 top receivers healthy and ready to go are going to make it a lot different than what we saw in Week 6.
I like it. Okay, comments on Brian's thoughts there, TJ.
I worry about Devontae Adams. I hope that our coaching staff are getting as many sleepless nights as I am, thinking about how our secondary could end up resembling burnt toast if we're not careful. The Kansas City game that we had, the Buccaneers had on Sunday Night Football, when Tyreek Hill destroyed us, and I mean destroyed us, is probably a good template if you're a Green Bay fan of what could happen. What I'd like to hope happens is we see what we saw last week in the Saints game, where our defense was lights out, and it's not always been that way. But Devin White completely stood up. He had the game of his life. He didn't let the New Orleans offense have any restful moments. They're going to have to do the same again. It's probably going to end up being a shootout, even if they are playing well. And if you got to be honest, again, Brian might disagree with me here. If there's 2 minutes remaining, your team's down by 5 in an NFC Championship game, who's the one quarterback you would want to have with the ball in his hands going up the field? And Brian could, scream until he's red in the face. I don't think he'd have the right answer. You'd want to have TB12.
That is one of the toughest questions in the world, because my goodness, yes, last week, of course, Drew Brees. Unfortunately for him, not the victory, and TB12 moves on. It's something about Brady, man. He's not just a great athlete, but the guy he's the captain of the ship. And it's kind of funny because, well, now that he's a pirate, I'm not saying that kind of now, but it's the truth, man. I mean, if it ain't Captain Hook himself, just kidding. But the guy, man, he just has a way of managing the team. Now, don't get me wrong, Aaron Rodgers is awesome. We love him. He's amazing. But one of my really good friends had a oh, I don't want to open this can of worms, but this will be quick and dirty. But he actually had said it because he's a Patriots fan, diehard, and well, now he's a little sore about Brady. But he even said it. He's like, how can you even say Aaron Rodgers is a Hall of Famer? And I was like, well, why? He says, you got to be kidding me, dude. He's like, the guy's a great quarterback, but he's won 1 Super Bowl. And I'm like, well, you're going to chalk up Super Bowls? He says, of course. He says, you're telling me that, he says, if that's the case, Eli Manning is better than Rodgers because he at least has 2. And I was like, mind blown. So I don't want to chalk it up to that. I really don't. I feel that deep down, Aaron Rodgers has done everything to be a Hall of Famer, but with the records and what he's done. But my goodness, I mean, it's absolutely correct. One guy, if you pick one player, Brady gets it done. But then again, we can't overlook the man who's had 2 Hail Mary completions in the last decade. And of course, he's had, I think, an enormous amount of fourth quarter comebacks. I mean, the guy, Rodgers is also another player. I mean, it's going to come down to those 2 quarterbacks, in my opinion, of who you would have in that fourth quarter, that last drive. So,
yeah, I mean, look, I that point I made wasn't me trying to be down on Aaron Rodgers. It was me trying to be up on Tom Brady. Like, your boy you're talking about, he's foolish. Like, Aaron Rodgers is a Hall of Famer. There's no doubt in my mind. And with almost any other quarterback in the league, you choose Aaron Rodgers in that situation. But when you're coming to this situation with a man who has been to how many NFC championship games? How many championship games? Twice as many as any other quarterback. Tom Brady's been in the situation before and he knows what to do.
And I agree. So good stuff there. I completely agree. By the way, big ups to everybody in the chat room today. Of course, Terrence, what's going on, brother? Glad to have you here. Terrence says the Rams lost last week because I didn't represent them in the primetime face-off. Just kidding. Of course, there were no primetime face-offs last week because this crazy year kind of dripped into this year. But yeah, well, I think Brian wouldn't mind too much about that game last week. I don't think he cares too much about that. He's glad they got the win. And then for Terrence, I picked the Rams defense as the whole X factor, if that means anything. Well, they're pretty good, but no cigar last week. I mean, it is what it is. But all right, let's get on to that fire round, guys. Final round here and talk about your game plan. So, TJ, finish us out, man. Tell us all about the game plan. Your coach, what do you want to do, man? What do you guys have to do to win this game tomorrow?
I think we've got to rely on our run. This is so against everything I've just said. We've got to rely on our run game. And the reason I say that is because the less time that Aaron Rodgers is on the field, the less chance he has to hurt us and hurt the scoreboard. If we can create some drives where we're turning the ball over quickly, as in making plays quickly, not literally turning the ball over, running down the clock, getting Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette played the best I've ever seen him play for a Buccaneers team last week. If we can get that going, it gives obviously Brady some chance on the play action as well, which is where he had so much success last week and indeed throughout the season. We're going to have to keep the scoreboard ticking over. I love our defense. I love how they played last week, but Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay weapons are too talented for us to keep this game low scoring. We're going to have to keep going with the play action, keep getting points on the board. If it does rely on Ryan Suckup, our kicker, he's not shown any nerves really this season. Keep the scoreboard going. And then if we're going to have the ball with 2 minutes to go, with down 4 points or down 2 points, you then rely on Brady to get you over the line that one last time. I feel like it's going to come down to whoever has the ball last is going to win this game. So we need to engineer a situation where Brady has the ball last and can do his thing.
Sorry, I was muted. You guys, that is a great way to put it, and I completely agree with you. But for some reason, we lost Brian there, so hopefully he comes back in a few minutes. Yeah, there he is. That was odd. Let's get Brian back in here. What happened?
He ran away.
I don't know.
He ran away.
I got dropped off. Sorry about that.
Great stuff there, TJ. Tell us all about it now, Brian. You popped in right at your time, man. What must your Packers do to earn this victory and head on to Super Bowl for the first time in 10 years? Uh-oh. Okay.
All right, am I still there?
All right.
All right. The Packers this time, yep. Yeah, this time they've been watching the NFC Championship game last year where they got really beat down by the 49ers, and Devin White, being a young player, gave them some nice bulletin board material earlier this week. So as we talked about, the pressure's on them, but I really think that they're fired up about this game. Almost all these players were here last year and know the agony of defeat in the NFC Championship game. So I expect them to come out fired up, and so the defense, I think, is going to be really good in the first quarter at least. And then for the Packers, they just have to focus on running the ball. I know it's going to be like trying to run into a wall against this Buccaneers defense, but they have to maintain that because the play action pass is what makes this offense so lethal. And without a running game, that play action pass is completely neutralized. So that's going to be the game plan that they have to follow. It may not look good. Fans may get frustrated that the running game is only getting 2-3 yards a carry, but it's necessary to get those strike plays downfield that they'll need against this Buccaneers team.
I agree. Taryn has a very interesting comment here. He says the Packers are better than week 6 dictated. I don't know what happened with them that week, but that must have been a part their annual stunning blowout losses like last year versus the Chargers. Well, hey, sometimes you have those uncharacteristic games, but very good points there, Brian. And since you didn't really get to hear what TJ said and comments, So I'll just leave that part out of the commenting. But gentlemen, great job there. That will conclude today's Primetime Face-Off. That was awesome, and both of you guys made great points, and I'm super excited for this game coming up on Sunday. So you guys, the first game up, that's the way it goes. I believe they alternate every year, but you guys, the first game up, and then of course we got the AFC Championship coming up right afterwards to see who one of your opponents will be in the Super Bowl, and of course we got the second Primetime Face-Off coming up at the top of the hour. But this time we did have a voting poll. We had two of them. Of course, we had the Twitter voting poll and the Hidden Gems voting poll, the Hidden Gems group, of course, on Facebook. So let's go ahead and get on into those real quick. This was not what I expected. I really thought this would be a little bit different. I did not like this because I don't like when this happens for a couple of reasons. TJ brought them up earlier. Actually, both of you brought them up earlier. So here we go, guys. And I mean, it's not a bad thing because if it's true, cool, but sometimes. So here we go, y'all. One thing left to do here in this Primetime Face-Off, and that is show who you, the listeners, thought were going to win this thing. All right, let's get on into it. With 87% of the Twitter voting poll, you, the listeners, are going with the Green Bay Packers to win this thing. My goodness. I mean, just like TJ
That's a lot of confidence.
That's a
I love
lot.
it. I love it. I love it. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
You know what? I love it because you're right. It's true. But I think both of you had a great point on that. TJ brought it up. Well, good. The higher you get built up, the faster you're going to fall. And Brian's like, yeah, like it's great to have confidence, but we don't need to be built up so high. Like, let's win the game first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think both.
There were some loud mouths in Louisiana last week. Go and ask them how that turned out.
Well, there you have it. And also in the Twitter voting poll, I'm not even going to build it up this one because it was pretty much the same. 78% in the Facebook group went ahead with the Packers. And my goodness, guys, I mean, 87% and 78%. First things first, we got to speak to the victor here. I mean, of course, the face-off itself. Next year, we've really got to get the audience picking, of course, who won between you guys. But, of course, the victor of the polls, that is, who chose, will go first here. So, with that said, Brian, tell us, man, what do you think of this 87% and this 78% of the listeners' pick?
Like I said, that's a lot of confidence. It's still against Tom Brady, which we've seen for 20 years here, that he is just when you count him out and you think he's done, he'll find a way to come back. So as confident and glad I am that everyone's picking the Packers, and that's exactly what I hope will happen. There's no way, as much as I would like to, saying that Brady's, 43 years old and there's no way he should be able to get in a shootout with Aaron Rodgers. I can't say that because it's only a few years ago I watched him go in a shootout with the Eagles. He ended up losing that, and hopefully that's the way it goes if it happens again. But Tom Brady has some magic in him that just you can't be explained, and you can never count him out. So 87% and 78%, that's awesome. And I wish it was that my confidence was that high. But thank you for Packer fans out there. And maybe it's just a tiredness of seeing Brady in the Super Bowl, but thank you, Packer fans, and go Pack, go.
All right. We already heard what TJ's got to say, but if you want to add a little more to that, man, let us know.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's literally the whole mentality of the Buccaneer fan base is built on Tom Brady's shoulders. This is a team that went 7-9 last year, and I know Gronk has returned, AB got signed, Fournette came in. This is pretty much the same team as last year. The only difference is we got rid of someone who threw 30 interceptions and brought in the greatest of all time, and he ended up getting us 4 more wins and then getting them two playoff wins. I completely understand the poll, because if I had to pick a one-off game between these two at Lambeau, you'd pretty much pick the Packers most times. But this is not an ordinary situation, and this is a situation where under center we have a quarterback who has played twice as many of these games more than start again. A quarterback that has played twice as many of these games more than any other quarterback. So if he plays well, we have a chance. If he doesn't play well, we don't win this game. It's as simple as that. But we have him. We cherish him. He might only be here for 2 years. Let's ride this thing all the way. Raise the flags.
Here we go, guys. All right, so final predictions here. Terran's got the Packers winning 34-28. But then again, Terran also says something that I really like in the chat room. Thankfully, the listeners don't decide the game. It's the players. So it's true. We shall see who wins this thing. Gentlemen, it has been a blast. But one last thing. TJ, well, let's go ahead and start once again with the winner of the polls here. Brian, if you'd like to only, you can also pass this question. But final score.
Final score, I'm going to go, I got to stick in with the fan poll and have a little confidence here. So I'm going with 31-21. I think that they're going to be very motivated. That was an embarrassing loss in week 6. So they're hot right now, and I have full confidence at home that they can take care of it. But as we've seen, like we've been talking this whole time, even if they have, you know, a 24-point lead or 25-point lead like they did like the Falcons did, we know Tom Brady can overcome that. So there's no point in this game, no matter what the lead is, that I will be, you know, celebrating early. It'll come down to that last second tick-off before my nerves will calm down.
You got it. All right, TJ, give us your final score.
10 points. Like, I'm hurt. He's gone for 10 points in the difference of the scores. That's wounded me. I wasn't expecting that. I'm going to go Bucks 35, Packers 34. I don't think it will come down to a last-second field goal necessarily, but I think there could be some kind of 2-minute drill where we get a go-ahead touchdown. Maybe it is a touchdown that we need. We get it somehow. Go for a point, maybe go for 2. I don't know. I feel like Brady's going to have the ball at the end, and he will do what he's done so many times before.
I love it. Gentlemen, that was awesome. And both of you are going to be in the game tomorrow, just like myself. This is going to be an amazing day, guys. And I'm so gosh dang excited for our championship weekend. Best luck to both your teams this weekend. God bless you both and your families. And I hope you both have a wonderful evening. Of course, how did I forget this? How could I forget this? So sorry. Brian, where can all these diehard fans find you, your podcast, and all the good things you do, sir?
Yeah, if you want to check out our podcast, you can follow us on Twitter at the GSpotPacker1. Check us out. We do, my co-host and I do weekly shows for the games. It's just a fun time. Come check it out. And as always, go Pack Go, and good luck to TJ. It was a nice, fun little banter we had, and I enjoyed it. So good luck. Hopefully not too much luck. You had a great season so far.
All righty, TJ, same question, brother. Where can these dire Buccaneers fans find you and Bucks UK?
So on Twitter at TJ_Bloomfield. I've got various bits of Buccaneer stuff on there. I'll put a post up and pin it of something I've written about the UK fan base and the Buccaneers, and 2 games from glory after 18 years. I'll put that up so you can read it. And in the Bucks UK fan group, just type in Bucks UK on Google, and you'll find us, bucksuk.org. We will welcome, as I said at the start of this program, anyone in Europe and the UK, any bandwagoners as well, more than welcome to join one of the oldest fan groups for the NFL that there's been ever since 1984, still going strong after 37 years.
I'm loving it. Gentlemen, once again, it was awesome having you. Now we can do the exit. But thank you guys so much for your time today and for being a part of today's show. We appreciate you very much, and best luck to both your teams. Take care. God bless both your families, and hopefully we'll see one of you back in a couple of weeks. Take care, guys.
Have a good one. Thank you.
Take care, guys. Have a good one. All right, y'all.
Take it easy, guys.
That was Mr. Brian and Mr. TJ Bloomfield. Man, can we get an applause? Great job for them. They did an amazing job today, and I couldn't agree more than all of the awesome things that they have brought up today. My goodness, what a what a face-off! And these two gentlemen, very respectful, very fun, very, very fun there. And well, we have our final verdict coming up, and of course, we do have Okay, we do have the second primetime face-off coming up in just a few minutes. But I'll tell you, it is now time for that final verdict. And, well, let's see what we've got. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been so tough. This has been so tough for me to go back and forth and to see who's going where and who's doing what. It comes down to a really good defense with two pretty decent defenses and two offenses that are very high powered. We're probably going to get a shootout, which I think that's going to happen. Maybe some defense in there. I'd love to see it, but my goodness, I just think we might get some high scoring game going on in this one, and that's okay too. My final pick in this game is going to go Pack go. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got to take the Green Bay Packers in this game. I'll score 42-35. This game is going to be insane, but my goodness. If the Buccaneers win this thing, wonderful job to them. But man, those Packers are too good. They've had a great season. They're continuing it in the playoffs. They look strong. I think they got just a little bit more than those Buccaneers. And I think they're going to be able to get this thing done and move on to the Super Bowl. And, well, there you have it. So, with that said, once again, my final score 42-35, and that will do it for this NFC Championship primetime face-off. Be ready. Be right back at it, because we will be right back at it in just a few minutes at the top of the hour for the AFC Championship primetime face-off right here on iSports Radio. Your direct feed for all that is sports. This is me, your boy Larry B, signing off, and I will see you in just a few minutes. Until then, take care, and as always, God bless.